Jay here for Stretford Paddock, and as you may have noticed, none of us are Stephen Howson, but don't fret. Don't. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me just turn that down for starters.
Turn that off, Jay.
God, so unprofessional. Steve isn't with us today, but don't worry. We've got better substitutes. Joe Smith's with me.
How you doing?
And, of course, the infamous Andy Tate.
I'm like a young Stephen Howson in a way.
You're like a younger, taller version.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Yeah. What do you think has a more glaring absence of Stephen Howson? Howson's Brew or Howson and McCullough? Anyone on that?
You stepped in, didn't you?
I stepped in once.
You stepped in for McCullough.
You stepped in another time, yeah.
Yeah, so you stepped in for McCullough and for Howson, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're doing all right. In fact,
Yeah,
get rid of them two and just have you on.
Feels great. Feels really good.
We could just have Joe and Joe uncensored and Joe's Brew.
Yeah. Joe and Joe uncensored. Andy Tate's here. How you doing?
I'm good. Been on holiday to Lake District. Enjoyed it.
Very nice.
I even did a team talk in the pissing rain.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't know you were in the Lake District though.
For the Luton game.
I didn't know you were in the Lake District. You feeling a bit better this week after what's happened? 2 wins in a week, United.
I'll be honest. I turned off at 2-2 and I said, "Fuck you, United," and I went off and did something else, and I didn't even know we won.
So you came back. You just rolled out your pastry for your big chicken pie, and you're like, "It's 3-2." Well, still got flour in your hands, brushing it off on your apron. What's going on here? What's going on?
I know.
Something like that, was it?
Absolutely. Well, I was just, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
To be fair, that was the most normal video you sent me of late. The one where you're in the Lake District. The other one with your mask on.
Batman.
When he makes his pies, he calls it the Flake District.
The
very light pastry. What are we talking about today, Jay?
We're talking about Jadon Sancho. Have you heard of Jadon Sancho?
I think Steve mentioned him a few days ago. I don't know.
Is this lad who apparently plays
he a manager? Used to manage.
I've got it wrote down somewhere. Borussia or something. United rumoured to maybe be interested in him. I don't know if he's any good. But this is a fairly new rumour. I've not heard it before today. The latest twist in this is we're going to finally make a bid because apparently we haven't been making any bids for him over the last 2 months or whatever.
About
it's been.
time too, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah,
what is it? A week left in the transfer market.
So
finally time to make a bid, don't you think, lads?
No.
That's
That's what they want us to do.
That's what they want us to do. What shall we do?
Let's wait till after the transfer window.
Yeah, then we make
They
the
won't
bid for
be
next
expecting
year.
that.
Yeah, then I'll be an autopsy on what a farce of a window it's been.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we'll get him?
Do I think we're going to get him?
Let's start with the obvious question.
If you gave me 500 quid,
yeah,
I wouldn't put a bet on anything. I'd just spend it. No, but if I had to put a bet on, one or the other, I would say we will get him. I'm still holding confidence, despite all of the journalists who seem to have a knowledge of the situation above and beyond my own that we've spoken to, who don't seem to think this is going to happen.
Every journalist we've spoken to practically has said no.
Like
And we've gone like we're speaking to
gone full,
Blackman, we're speaking to Christian Falk,
Jonah Hill.
But like we decided
no,
to
it's still happen.
Ignore everything they've told us,
Yeah.
despite the fact we rate them very highly. See you later, Callum.
Just click ignore.
Yeah, we're saying that he's going to come, guys. As well, everyone, don't forget to like the video
One
and
like
subscribe.
equals one Sancho.
Yeah. If we get to 1,000 likes, we'll sign Jadon Sancho. That's official. What do you reckon, Mr. Tate?
It's like a soap opera, isn't it? It is, but a German version. German version of Corrie, but who holds all the cards?
Auf Wiedersehen,
Who's the
Pep.
dealer?
That's what Sancho said a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it again. Anyone cares? Auf Wiedersehen, Pep.
It kind of
Carry
works.
on, Jay.
Sort of doesn't.
Carry
But
on. It doesn't kind of work.
Because that's what he said 2 years ago.
Yeah, when he moved to Dortmund in the first
yeah,
place.
but like you want something that's relevant now, not what he would have said 2 years ago.
I don't know, but who holds all the cards? Who's the dealer in this?
He looks.
Right,
It was a decent effort.
Who is it?
right?
Who's
Who
the
is
croupier? That's what we want to know.
Who's the dealer? Who's got all the cards?
Dortmund.
And they don't have to bat an eyelid, and he will stay there. And next season, it'll be a supermarket suite with everybody in for it.
Yeah.
Thinking?
Yeah.
Who will play? Who will be Dale Winton?
I've said all along, well not all along, but over the last few weeks, I've sort of listened to the journalists we've been speaking to because I don't want to be rude.
How many times
Invite
do
him
you
on
have to
the
be told, Jay?
invite him on the channel
People
and then
don't
ignore
want to
them.
hear experts anymore. They want gut
People are
feelings.
sick of experts and
They're
facts.
sick of experts, exactly.
So yeah, they've all said it, and I'll be honest with you, I believe them because they're all saying this thing that Dortmund are annoyed with United. They set a deadline that United ignored. They set a price that United also ignored. Bayern Munich have just won the lot, and Dortmund are sort of feeling like, you know what, we don't need to sell him now. He signed a deal to 2023, so we're still going to get a lot of money for him next year. so we can hold on to him for a season, challenge Bayern Munich, and then still get 100 million for him next summer. So I hope I'm wrong, and then you can clip this up and ram it down my throat. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we get him this week, but I don't think it'll happen. I'm sorry. Guys, get involved in the comments. Let us know whether you think Jadon Sancho is coming to Old Trafford. The big problem is as well... What are you shaking your head for?
I don't mean to offend you here, but I think you're a disgrace for what you said. We tried to have some levity, some confidence, some happiness on this channel, and all you're saying is, I agree with the experts. They know better than me, and they're telling me, so I believe them. Trust your gut.
Then you go to the doctor says that to you, just go, you know what? Yeah. I don't want to hear about that.
I've got this illness. That'll be all, doctor.
Yeah, I'm not listening to you. No, I don't need an operation. I'm fine.
Who has created all this? Who has created all this?
It's a very existential question.
It's the club. Silence is golden. And they have caused this in the last 7 days. And they've spat out their dummy, had a pop at the fans, which is totally unfair. Why us? Why are you having a go at us? Well, you've done sod all. I'll give you credit, Donny van der Beek, absolute snip. But the rest, it's becoming a farce. Well, absolute farce.
My worry as well, Andy, or Joe, either of you can answer this one. It's an open forum. Is that it's not just Jadon Sancho we need, is it? No. Let's face facts. If we get Jadon Sancho, we've not suddenly made up the 33 points behind the Scousers we were last season.
No.
We're not suddenly now where you'd want United to be. We need at least Jadon Sancho and another. And we seem to have spent all summer, other than the Van der Beek signing, just chasing Jadon Sancho without properly chasing him as well, because we're hearing that a bid's going to be submitted. So we've not even submitted a bid yet. What have we been doing?
I don't know what we've been doing. The assumption was, again, I don't think they just go around, or they might do, but the suggestion that they are just blindly submitting bids that they have no idea whether or not they'll be accepted seems unlikely and seems foolish to me. I don't think they just turn up and go, 50 million bid, official signed bid from the club, here you go. Surely there's conversations, there's more an understanding of what you're willing to accept, what this is. Like, these bids that take place, surely they're not just being done, without the knowledge of whether Dortmund are even remotely interested in that bid. Do you know what I mean? I can't...
Yeah.
Like...
The strange thing, I'm just going to look in the comments. So someone said, is Joe's mic stand broke, or does he just like holding it? Haha.
The mic stand's broken, and also if it's on there, I have to sit like this.
He likes
and I'd rather be able to
down
sit back and be a bit more relaxed, so I'm just holding it.
Giving me that look of disgust from above. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, because... You know, like you say, you're not just going to go like, oh yeah, here's a bid, here's a bid, and we just hear that there's interest.
Yeah.
But the problem I think with the Dortmund situation is it hasn't been United speaking to Dortmund, has it? It's been apparently, again, there's lots of apparentlys and maybes and stories and rumours, but Stefan Liechtensteiner's brother is one of the intermediaries who's been speaking to another agent who's working maybe on behalf of someone involved with Manchester United. So it's not like Matt Judge or Woodward ringing the Dortmund CEO or it's not like old days where Sir Alex Ferguson rings Kevin Keegan and says, you can have Keith Gillespie, give me Andy Cole. It's going through all these intermediaries, and it just seems to have gotten nowhere.
It's like what Everest said the other week. Somebody phoned in to try and get through to Fudge, wasn't it? It's Fudge, Judge, whatever the fuck his name is.
No,
he will be judged. You know what I mean?
Fudge if he's not careful.
He'll be in a fudge if he's not careful. But I think to a point, I think Ed's a bit relieved that his cohort's getting the stick now.
Yeah, for so long, Matt Judge was sort of hiding behind the curtain, wasn't he? Like people knew about him. It wasn't like this a secret by any means. But Matt Judge wasn't the face that you saw in the media. It wasn't the articles being written about him. And now we're starting to see like, oh, Matt Judge, who's this guy? And like you said, I'm sure Woodward's rubbing his hands together, going, finally, someone else can take a bit of the blame off me for once.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because we spoke about it last week. But just briefly on Evra's, I wouldn't say rant, because it wasn't much of a rant, his speech almost. But he seemed to focus a lot of his disappointment, shall I say, at Judge. He sort of said, Woodward's all right, he's just surrounded by the wrong people, something I completely disagree with. Sorry, Pat. And then he said Avram Glazer loves the club.
No, he
doesn't. He might love the money it's given him. But then he was like, but Matt Judge this and Matt Judge that. Judge was the one who he sort of got the most criticism, which...
Judge not unless you wish to be judged yourself. Something like that.
Jesus has spoken.
Ross
Murphy says, can we still get Alaba? The rumours about him still linked with United.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it could happen, but there's a week left now, isn't there? And I know last summer or in the winter we saw, who was it? Josh King get rumoured on the last day, and we saw Igalo get rumoured on the last day. So you can get players who you've literally not been linked with all summer on the last day. But surely if we're going to get someone as high profile as David Alaba, we would have heard about it before now. Maybe not. There's always surprises, but it seems as though that one's unlikely to me.
Yeah, I know we just sort of said we don't always listen to the people we speak to, but Florian Plettenberg, who covers Bayern Munich for Sport 1 and he's very close to the club, he said that was a non-starter. Christian Falk said that, there's no deals going to be done there on that front as well. So, I mean, what do they know though?
Surely they couldn't get.
Do they live in Earlham like me?
Yeah,
I'm on the hotbed of I've got the the hotline in my house to Bayern Munich to the Allianz Arena.
You've got a couple of German TV channels on your
exactly.
So
that's
but you can see why fans are getting angry, can't you? I mean, look at today. Man City have just spent £67 million.
Yeah, on Victor Lindelof.
Well, this is just like, it just makes me laugh because someone said typical City lose and then they go out and spend 67 million. I don't think they lost and went right. That's it.
Yeah,
I think this deal was already
not like we did with Fernandes after the Burnley game. By the way, like typical Man United lose to Burnley by Bruno Fernandes.
Well, it seemed like that was a tipping point, though, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Because that transfer rumour went on all summer and then all through January, and then after the Burnley game was when they finally got the deal done. I think we've sitting the new lad they brought, which brings Pep spending to what, about
$1 billion?
£1 billion, something like that.
Fiction, though, innit? It doesn't matter. It's not real. It's just zeros. It's just zeros.
Bottomless pit.
Yeah. It don't feel like it means anything. Does it?
Michael Kahn says, "Joe, will you marry me?"
Sure.
Yeah. Tunku Adikare, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says, "Kante?" ?
Would love to have him. Don't think he's being sold. Certainly not in this window.
Be interesting. Yeah, I would have him.
Yeah, it'd be
good. Who'd you make way for?
When I was doing the paper talk this morning, I looked at that and it said the sticking point. I don't know this is true, but his wages, 300,000, is one. I mean, there's lots of other reasons.
And what's the sticking point? United want to give him double, but he won't have it.
Yeah, exactly that.
That tends to be the case, doesn't it?
But I think after Sanchez, United don't want to then bring in another 29-year-old on massive wages.
And supposedly one of the reasons we didn't go after Thiago as aggressively as you might think we would, that supposedly, again, he wanted £250,000-300,000 a week, and that didn't work with what Bruno's on, what some of the other younger lads are on. I think it would have been maybe a mistake and a road that we've been down and tried to hopefully not to go down again. But again, that could just be an excuse from the club. It's all well and good saying we don't want another Sancho, but if your best player is on the most money and is your best player, it doesn't matter. The only reason it's a problem is when he's on the most money and he's crap. So it's easy saying, well, we don't want to give him any money in case it ruins the structure of the club like Sanchez did. But if Thiago comes in and is our best midfielder, no one cares if he's on 290 grand a week then. So it could easily be used as an excuse. And again, it's sort of covering your own back, isn't it? If you don't get him, it's because he was on too much. And if you do get him, no one cares about the wages, assuming he's good.
It was frustrating for me. I hate to say it because he went to Scousers that we didn't get Thiago. It was frustrating when he didn't get him when he was linked with us when we had David Moyes.
7 years ago.
Yeah, I think he would have been a fantastic midfielder for us. But someone's saying £560 million for defenders since Pep is there. I think someone did it yesterday. Was it Turkey? Someone did it.
Yeah, 450 or something.
450 on defenders and goalkeepers, which is pretty phenomenal, really, when you think about.
What was he won? 2 Premier Leagues? Is it worth that? I don't know. What's the value of a Premier League title? 2 Premier Leagues and 2 Carling Cups and FA Cup. Is that what he's won?
I think the thing with
City. Nothing wrong with that, mate.
It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I just wonder.
Can you have 4 major trophies?
Well, I'm saying it's good.
I think the point he's making is £500 million on it.
Is 2 Premier League trophies worth £1 billion in transfers? Is it like what is the point where you go, even though he won us a lot of stuff, is there any point where you go, it still wasn't worth it? I know obviously the fan base wouldn't think that way, but do you know what I mean? What is the value of that? Because you say, oh, he's paid for himself there. He's got this many goals, this many assists. If you spent $1 billion on Messi and he wins you a Premier League, is that transfer worth it? Do you know what I mean?
If he single-handedly destroys the Premier League and wins the league, yeah.
You think 1 Premier League title is worth £1 billion? You know what I mean? That's the point I'm making.
This is 2020. Anything's possible now.
I get where you're coming from.
It's just zeros, isn't it?
So you're telling me Messi can't? He's practically run the Spanish league last few years on single-handedly.
Yeah.
He's won that title.
Matthew Sargent says, "Is the Carabao a major trophy?"
Carrot Bag Cup?
No, I think it is. It is when we win it.
Believe me, mate, I wanted to win it last season.
You know what,
Losing
though?
to City was heartbreaking.
It's great.
I want to win it.
And when we last won it against Southampton, the Zlatan final, it was a great day, and it was great to get that last minute winner from him and that. But
I want it.
Going back to your earlier point, if you spent that much money with a manager like Pep Guardiola, who finished the way they did the season before, and you only end up with the Carabao Cup, you get knocked out of the Champions League in the quarters, and you finish 20 points, whatever it is, behind the Scousers. That for me isn't a great season. Andrew Guzman is in the super chat. He says, "Do you think we'll do the double over City again this season?" Question mark.
It's possible. If you put it down statistically, you would say probably not, because it's rare that we do, and they've won more than us in the last
your home
few years,
game.
So presumably they've got better players.
We've got a good record there. They've got a good record at our place.
I would be surprised if we did it again, but I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility.
Derby's on my
birthday. It was mad last season, wasn't it?
December the 13th.
There you go, it's written. It's going to happen.
If Sky move it to Sunday.
Hey, when Marcus bangs in an hat-trick, he'll wave to you and then give you that afterwards.
Give you a handshake.
What a day that would be if it happened.
I'm just having a look. See, it says, has it been a waste of money on players or a waste of time and money on the managers, is asking Jason Lee about Pep Guardiola. I mean, you can argue about that. We don't want to make it all about say. Is that Zane? Is that...
Yeah, that's Zane, the Arsenal fan. Read him out.
It says, guys, you should be cheering on Arsenal tonight against the Scousers. Arteta masterclass upcoming. Zane's our resident Arsenal fan who spends his month's credit card.
Has there ever been an Arteta masterclass? As a player or as a manager?
Well, everyone's thought the semi-final against City was a masterclass. But let's not forget, City have lost 10 of the last 36 games or something I was reading. So it's not like the team they used to be.
Arsenal fans are so fucking deluded sometimes. You know what I mean?
No, Cockney then. Fucking deluded.
Yeah, you know what I mean, bruv?
The melt.
Honestly, look, don't get me wrong, they're building and they can have good results, but they'll also have bad results again this season.
I don't know with Arsenal. It's weird because, yes, they've got Aubameyang and they've got some good players. I think Willian can still do a job, and the lad that we were reportedly interested in, Gabriel, looks okay. But it's very weak, their midfield, I think, for example. And I think they're that far away in terms of quality from the rest of the teams, even us. I think player for player, I don't think there's many their team. Maybe Aubameyang and that's it.
I think, Aubameyang would probably be the only player I'd have in United.
Yeah, you wouldn't and historically, when you look at Arsenal,
maybe Tierney.
Yeah, that's a good shout. So I do rate him.
But
other than that, I mean, they're okay. And plus,
maybe Lacazette. Maybe.
No. As a sub, you'd have him. He wouldn't start.
I'd have Lacazette
on the bench.
That's about it.
Ross Murphy in the super chat says, would have been so interesting if City got that European Cup banned. Pep could have been thinking about leaving, and De Bruyne would have gone 100%. I mean,
that would have been good.
I don't think it matters. I think they're all getting that much money and all sorts going on. I think City have brought Pep and his brother a football team, haven't they, and all sorts. So I don't know if he's going to go anywhere. Just having a look as well. So what did you make of the fact that, just slightly off topic, United had that win that we were here for after full time, which was amazing, I thought.
Brighton,
and despite the performance, let's just focus on the result. We won. And everyone was sort of going, how rubbish it was and all this, that and the other, and the performance, and a lot of commentators were whinging about it. And then you see Chelsea had a bit of a shocker, didn't they? I know they drew in the end, but defensively all over the shop. City having an absolute horror show. And
getting
again,
battered
5-2.
Couldn't believe that. Couldn't believe it.
It's sort of...
Wolves have lost both of their starting games. Bayern Munich lost 4-1.
Great shout. Which, these aren't... Bayern Munich you don't expect to... Was it Hoffenheim?
4-1 they lost to Hoffenheim, yeah.
Yeah, and did they win something like 90% of
23 games in a row they'd won.
So, does that sort of... My point I'm getting to is, does that show that teams that have had a longer season and less of a pre-season have been affected?
There's an article today about it.
Thing, is it?
No, it's across Europe. The trend seems to be that if you had those games after the end of the league season, whatever they were, whether the Europa League or whether they were Champions League, you didn't have a proper break. And I know it sounds like, you're on 200 grand a week, you should be able to play, but you can't help if you're knackered. They're all trying as hard as they can.
This is an argument. I don't always agree when I see this, when people say he's knackered. You know, try working on a building site for 200 quid a week. If you're tired, giving someone more money doesn't make them less tired.
No.
Like, if you've played a lot of football, you've been carrying injuries.
They should,
yeah.
I mean, it should mean that they gave 100% effort every time. But if 100% effort is still... You're still, only at 70% capacity because you played so many games. It don't matter how hard you try. You're never going to be the 100% version of you. So I think another big problem is it's not just the minutes off or the time off or the legs, tired legs, that kind of thing. The mental side of it as well. They've not had a proper break. I bet in their heads, this still feels like last season. It's been one big long continuation with no sort of big sit down, rest or break or anything like that.
Do you know?
It's constant football between now and next August.
Yeah,
It was weird because
you got the Euros
and then
as
it'll
well.
be the Premier League again. So it'll be
Then you got the World
2
Cup.
years.
Is it World Cup?
Yeah. The year after that.
Yeah.
So it's literally 3 years in a row without a break now for them.
it was such a shame really because like I had such high hopes for the Europa. I thought, oh, we could win this, and it just in many ways, I wish we hadn't gone in.
I wish we'd have lost.
Those
to
two
LAX
games were
game.
awful, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I know we had 3. The last
You can't
game
say
was
that, man. Not in the semi-final. You can't.
I know, but
the point I'm getting at is, in retrospect, which hindsight is a wonderful thing, we were knackered for it. We were putting our
We were
worst
shit.
performances, and we've still not recovered from it. So it's just really hurt us being in that. Where at the time, after the season finished, after the Leicester game, I was like, yes, go for the Europa now, and this could be a fantastic season, winning Europa and finishing 3rd. Maybe not fantastic, a very good season. And in the end, it sort of hurt us, and I think we're still recovering that because Rashford's starting to look a little bit more like Rashford of old. No, he's been carrying on. Martial's still getting back into it. Pogba's still getting back into it. I know obviously he's not been well. Bruno, even though he's effective, still looks a bit goosed to me. So I just feel
Really
like
good.
I'm disappointed with Pogba on Saturday, man. He's giving the ball away again. I was just disappointed.
I didn't think Pogba was that much of an issue. I wasn't like, oh, he's been great, but I wasn't like, oh, he's been terrible. I thought of the players that sort of, I think me and you did the review, and I can't remember what rating I give him, but the ones that sort of stood out for me. And again, I think especially with Wan-Bissaka, it goes down to fitness.
I don't think he'll play this week in them 2 games.
Pogba.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get rested.
He's been ill, and we can't have it both ways.
I understand that.
I don't think it's an effort with Pogba. I don't think he's like he turned up and he couldn't be bothered. I think he's just recovering. Joe Swarbick asked a great question. Name an underrated Old Trafford atmosphere over the years. City's second leg in the League Cup 2010 for me. OT was rocking that night.
Yeah, League Cup.
When the goal went in that Van Persie scored against Chelsea to equalise 1-1 in 2015,
16.
that was one of the biggest sort of explosions from a goal I've seen.
Or 14, 15.
Even though it was only to draw 1-1, that was a massive.
No, Michael
crowd
Owen,
burst
Manchester City.
Well, yeah, of course.
But like in terms of atmosphere, those was that atmosphere that great? Or I'm
going to go back even further.
Go on, you can.
1992, Manchester United v Middlesbrough, League Cup, semi-final, second leg. Ferguson's Red or White Army on the old Stretford end, and it was sung for the entire period of extra time, and we got through with a Giggs winner.
Fantastic. You know what? Weirdly, I love that. Oddly enough, under Moyes, right, when we were awful, 20 times rang out constantly. Even like when we were getting beat 3-0 off the Scousers, the atmosphere was better than when we'd won it the season before. It was bizarre. It was like everyone just thought, you know what, we'll shit on the pitch, but we're going to show, we're not shit off it. Everyone got behind the team. It was great. So yeah, but that one that he's talking about, I think that was the late winner, was fantastic. Tom Baxter asks, Joe, how often do you wash your glorious locks? It always looks so glossy. One of the few highlights of a very frustrating summer as a United fan. He sounds like your alter ego.
Thank you, Tom.
Tom Baxter, sorry.
Yeah, cheers, Tom.
Is it because you're worth it?
Thanks for the super chat. I am worth it, first of all, Andy. Thanks for asking. Second of all, it's as simple as shampoo, conditioner, and then some sort of oil, whether that be a Moroccan oil or sometimes an extra virgin olive oil if I haven't got time. 2 or 3 times a week.
Pinch Weasel says Juventus 3, United. 3-2 against Juventus.
Compose yourself.
Late 97, Giggs goal.
Ooh, don't remember that one.
Yes, I do. Very good. Forgive us if you can hear drilling and sawing
Stephen
outside.
Howson's revving his motorbike outside.
Yeah,
showing
that's
off.
why he's not here. He's just bought a new crosser and he's going up and down Deansgate on it.
Put your bloody helmet on. I told you.
I had a guy on a crosser behind me the other day doing wheelies all the way behind me down the Barton stretch. It was most perturbing. So, realistically, then, is it just Tellers and Sancho? They are only hopes.
It seems as though that's the case, doesn't it? We've been rumoured with central midfielders. We've been rumoured with centre backs, and all the journalists that have come out. I mean, we know you can hear that. We apologise. All the rumours that have come out around by all the journalists that have spoken about Man United this summer, they all say we still want a striker. and yet we haven't been linked with any, which has been a bit weird. Like they all say Solskjaer's still keen on a number 9, but you know what are you gonna do? Oh, are you thinking about the noise?
You could say,
go on, Steve. Is that? He's just got it brand new chopper. He's got. He loves it.
Boys in the
What is happening? If the building caves in that we're in,
I told you not to build a studio next to a motorbike shop. Go on, Andy. Do you think?
I was gonna say, is there a chance this deal with the Porto player could fall through and we could end up with nothing? And they're gonna have faces in the next 7 days.
there is definitely a big chance of that. I would say. What do you think, Eggy Face?
Yeah, I mean, it is rather worrying because I think, as you said about a striker, we desperately need a striker. Okay, if we get Sancho, that gives us other options. You can move Mason over into the centre and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Why are they haggling over 18 million?
When he won
12. When he paid 12.
Do you think, though, that we've seen these articles in recent weeks and people talking about the way the debt's structured and that we have to show a certain amount of profit per quarter and that sort of thing? Do you think that we just don't have as much money as we are making?
Was it last month? Man United took a £120 million loan from a bank in America. I was reading that last month to cover wages.
They do that a lot, though, don't they? They take loans and they do stuff. It's all this refinancing and structuring. So you can, I mean,
when they've gone, if and when they go, whoever comes in will look at them books and go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, maybe. You might well see that.
Maya Amateur in the Super Chat says the Europa League Cup last season should have been played with the second team, especially after the exhausting sprint towards the latter half of the EPL. I am afraid players will burn out. It makes a good point there. Don't forget to hit like as well and get involved in the chats. Let us know what you think. Slightly off topic, somewhat. Andres Pereira.
Yeah.
Going to
Lazio.
I mean,
makes sense.
I think is it an option to buy for 32 million?
Well, there's rumours. There's one of 15, one of 23, one of 25, one of 32, depending on where you read the story. Whatever it is, I'm happy with it.
Good luck to him. I hope he does well.
And you'll see as well. I know it might not be their best player by any means, but he'll go there and he'll be all right there. I just think the Bundesliga is one where you can go there and you can impress. You get a bit more space. The same with Serie A. We saw with Sanchez last season. He was injured for half the season at Inter, and he still got 10 league assists. I know Sanchez has got real quality deep down, but
every one of our surplus to requirement players that went to the Serie A, Smalling, Sanchez, Young, Lukaku, all had not just decent seasons, very good seasons.
Yeah,
even Young, like you think was past it. Well, I don't, but a lot of people did. Did well at Inter. Sanchez again, like you say, had a bit of a nightmare at Old Trafford. Did well. Lukaku, I think you always expected him to score lots of goals. And Chris Smalling had a fantastic season at Roma. You expected him to score lots of goals.
What was it? He equalled Ronaldo's record for a first season at Inter Milan. Like, you can expect him to do well, but that's like sort of elite status to be doing that. So it's a different league. Chris Smalling was one of the best centre-backs in the league last season. I think Ashley Young played a lot of games as sub, but he still got games. And again, Sanchez even looked good. So don't be surprised to see Pereira starting a lot of games for Lazio and they'll come back and they'll probably haggle over the price. But again, it might not work out, but I think that's probably a good move for everyone.
I think Pereira, for me, is indicative of the sort of the problems we had last season. Did he play? He's indicative.
Oh, sorry.
He's in Italy, but he's indicative of the problems we had last season because I think he played 40 games. And I can't remember, I've said this a few times, a player of lesser ability playing so many games as Andres Pereira. We've seen players that aren't quite good enough for Manchester United, but they've never played 40 games in one season.
I'm scared for Dan James. I don't want him to leave if the Leeds rumours are true.
Dan James to Leeds?
Yeah, I don't want him to go.
How come?
There's still something there. He's got potential. Pardon us for the windows are coming in. I think he's still got the potential. You know what I mean? Your first season, he started well, first few games, and he faded away. But he's only 21, 22, and the fear is if he went to Leeds and the Leeds manager got some out of it. It's a snippet 15 million. Well, what the fuck are you doing, United?
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going.
We ain't got enough wingers to let him go. We can't let Chong and James leaving the same summer when we were already thin on wingers and we aren't buying any new ones. I think just personnel-wise, it would be mad to let him leave.
That is a massive lose-lose.
You need strength and
Selling
depth.
Dan James,
Yeah.
There's no plus side to that. Oh, you're getting your money back for him.
If he knuckles down,
Do you know what I mean?
if he knuckles down, he'll be all right. He will come good.
Yeah.
I ain't got no
I
beef
felt a bit
with him.
sorry for Dan James. I mean, you spoke about it last season. He lost his dad just before he was due to move to United, and I think that people just dismiss that. That can stay with you for a long time. Just because he had a good start to his career, don't mean he was over it.
I can
Good
relate to that.
Exactly.
Family grievances.
You remember him crying when he scored and everything. He was obviously very emotional. He had a bit of a dip in form, and then obviously when you have a dip in form at Manchester United, it's probably the worst club in the world to be in the spotlight and not playing well because
look at him. I mean, look what's
scrutinised on all
Yeah,
fronts.
and after one season where up until Christmas he was our top assist maker. Can you check they've got a permit? Are they
It
just
seems
randomly
they've
tearing up the
they've
roads?
stopped
Check their permit.
riding their crosses up and down now. Started digging a hole.
Yeah, we're splashing.
They're making
whatever
an
it is.
escape.
Is there a bank next door?
Yeah, digging under. But yeah, he was our top assist maker up until Christmas, and then he had a slow 2020, and all of a sudden people want to sell him after one season. That's scrutiny that you don't get other clubs.
Ross Murphy says, I like Dan James, but there's a lack of confidence in him. He needs to get some kind of spark going. It looks as though towards the end of the season he kind of got his spark back just before lockdown, and then post-lockdown wasn't great, and against Palace he was pretty dreadful. I mean, everyone was, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I do worry because I've always said give him another season, meaning this season. Let him have till the end of the season and then make a decision on him. But something needs to start happening for him pretty soon.
Yeah, but that's the fear. He
great.
goes to Leeds and he becomes an absolute whiz, and somebody, another team could go in for him if he's at Leeds.
Pinch
you know what I
Weasel
mean?
here says James was brilliant at the Etihad. Forget about that. He was mint against City, wasn't he, away in the
And
league.
also, he might not progress to become the best winger in the league, but if he progresses to become a good squad player,
Jason Park.
Yeah, then 15
know what I mean?
million. Then
Jesus
15
Christ.
million for a good squad player isn't a bad price, and you're not just going to be able to do that whenever you want. So if he improves just enough to play 20 games, get 5 assists, 4 goals, whatever it may be, that might be enough.
What annoys me about this is, the reason Dan James was playing so many games. Dan James came in with 12 million up to 50 or 15 million up to 18 million with add-ons from Swansea. Only played like 6 months or whatever. Sorry, forgive me if there's someone banging on the window.
No, I've just got some fat beats going.
Yeah.
There's the
Crash bang
chorus.
wallop. There you go.
I don't know what they're doing.
It's all happening. No wonder Steve's not here. You have the right idea looking at this one, I'm telling you now. Alejandro Newsom says, we play him, I think he means Dan James, out of position every game, back up, left winger. But my point is, everyone thought he's going to be a squad player, he's going to be a fringe player, and then he was starting every game, wasn't he, at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And then we had this awful situation where you had Martial was injured for, I think, 3 months. Pogba got injured for about 9 months, yeah.
Rashford was out with his
but
back.
There was a time when our attacking options were Lingard, who was completely out of form, Juan Mata, Rashford, who to be fair carried the team a lot, and Dan James. And it shouldn't have been like you'd expect Dan James to come in and play a dozen games, perhaps, or maybe 20 games in all competitions. And Greenwood at the time wasn't quite ready yet. But instead, you're getting he's getting thrown in, week out, and it's like when his form dips, he should have been taken out. But he wasn't. He was kept in and kept in for a while. Dylan Silas says in a super chat, long-time fan, first-time commentator, which do you guys believe Axel Tuanzebe can reach levels people believe in him, or Ted Mengi having a Greenwood impact debut season? Tuanzebe, I think what he's saying there, do you think, either of those two, do you think Tuanzebe is going to do what we hope he can? And how good do you think Mengi can be this season?
To start with, he needs to just be fit, doesn't he? Do we know what the injury to Tuanzebe's been? He's been out for about 8 months, hasn't he?
Was this the one where before the Liverpool game?
He hasn't played since then.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same injury, if it's a recurring
The one at Old
injury, if
Trafford or the one at Anfield?
Old Trafford, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
It's nearly 8 months. Let's say down the line, we played Liverpool in January and we lost, didn't we?
Maybe, I don't
It's
know
weird because he played for Villa practically the whole season in the Championship when they got promoted, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And Villa fans were raving about him. So he gets basically not moved, but brought back because he's had such a great season. We're not going to let him go out on loan again.
Dean Henderson style.
Yeah. And then doesn't play practically at all.
I don't understand it. I don't know if anyone in the comments could let me know what injuries Axel Tuanzebe had.
Will Jesse Lingard?
You almost feel
next 7 days will summit. Go on.
To be out for this long, it has to be a really serious injury, like ligaments or broken bones, or I don't know what it is, and it would be almost worth questioning, like, how long is it going to take him to come back? He's back in training the other day.
He's on grass, I think Ollie said. Like, I mean, he's playing on grass, not smoking weed.
You think you're playing for this team, lad? You're on
He's
grass.
been stoned for the last 6 months
as well.
Hey, mate,
do you know what I mean?
Climate,
Such
why
a
not?
90s thing to say as well. That he's smoking draw.
That's the sort of thing my grandma.
He's on grass for the last 6 months.
Jay, are you on grass?
Are you on? Tell the truth. Your eyes are red. You keep eating Mars bars. Are you on grass?
No, I've just been watching Love Actually.
Love Island USA, you
So
mean?
lovely. Yeah, Love Island USA.
Someone's saying, this is what I mean. We've got 2 comments back to back. One says thigh injury, one says foot injury. So that's cleared that up then. Thank
Cheers,
you.
lads.
Someone else isn't it his back? His calf, hip or calf. Thank you. So
Rumours, thigh, back,
Yeah.
calf, foot. One of the 4. Other than his head, that's the covers the whole body, doesn't it?
The other side to that question was about Ted and Mengi. Can he have an impact season like the one Mason Greenwood had last season?
Why not?
Well, why not? Very good answer.
Why not?
I think this season might be the one before his big season. I think next season he might play more football.
Could you make a case that...
No.
Next question. No, could you make a case that this is probably... Maybe it's come a year too early for him in his development, but there seems to be questions over Lindelof. There's always physical questions over Eric Bailly. I know he's been fit for longer than he has been in a long time at the moment, but there are a lot of questions at centre-back. He's been an outstanding player for the under-18s. Is now his chance to do it? Like, let's say there was an injury to Bailly, he might be our second or first choice backup at centre-back. So... the case could still be the same next season, but if we sign Upamecano next year, or we sign another centre-back backup, he might have gone down the pecking order a bit more. Or if Tuanzebe comes back towards the end of this season and makes a name for himself, again, he might be down the pecking order. This might be the year. Again, it may have come too soon for him, but you saw when Rashford got thrown in, or you see when Brandon Williams gets thrown in, that sometimes it's about taking your chance rather than, well, is he quite right? Yeah, it's you get given a chance and prove yourself immediately and you can play. So I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen this season.
Guys, don't forget to hit like as well. Give us some likes. As I said earlier, if we hit 1,000 likes, we'll sign Jadon Sancho. That's official.
That is true, actually.
That's true. It's facts. You don't.
Do you
can't
think?
question it. Get involved in the comments as well. Just on that point, sorry, before you go, Andy, I'll have to ask you as well. Do you have a concern that, well, I get what Joe's saying, and I think Ted and Mengi, for what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing loads of him, for what I'm seeing, he's a phenomenal talent, and, take your chances and all the rest of it. Do you think there's a danger, though, if he does get a chance and it doesn't work out, it could hurt him long term? Because it's defender and it's centre-back as well, it's like a big position to be in, where if you have a stinker, people go, oh...
Well, if you're young, you have no...
If
you're young, you have no fear and you go straight into it. Look at Greenwood last season. Look at Rashford's first season when he was called up against Midtjylland. You just got to take your chance and play with no fear.
Rashford was the one really what exceeded everyone's expectations, I think anyone who, watched the academy and everything was like, is he good enough? Is he going to do it? And he came in and absolutely just blew everyone away, didn't he? He scored in all his debuts, Premier League debut, European debut, scored the winner in the derby. They got into the England side. I was like, it's ridiculous. I think even to a lesser degree, Brandon Williams as well. I think everyone thought he was at least a season or two off. And I get where you're coming from. I think you have to be cautious with this because although he's a better player, we've seen some players get thrown in. I mean, like Paddy McNair, for example. He's better than Paddy McNair before anyone says otherwise. But he came in, he did well, and then all of a sudden just 1 or 2 bad games, and next thing you know, that's it. So you want to see us look after youngsters properly. So I think the thing with Mason is...
I think we do that.
We brought him in.
We do that well.
In the right way because, we were going back about Dan James early, weren't we? And how early last season we were struggling. Yet Ollie didn't say, right, I'm going to throw Mason in every week because he knew it wasn't quite ready. He waited until... It wasn't until the end of the season where Mason,
after lockdown where he became first choice.
Yeah, and I think he needed that maybe a little 6 months, whatever.
I'm not putting Tuanzebe on this list because I don't think anyone would say he's established himself as a first-team player yet. When's the last time United had a centre-back come through the academy that was a first-team regular? Where's Brown? Johnny Evans?
Possible.
It's been a long time.
John O'Shea.
Johnny Evans was after... Johnny O'Shea was around the same time. He was after Wes Brown. Johnny O'Shea came through as a left-back at first.
John O'Shea didn't play many games at centre-back.
Played in midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, who was a
Where's
a
Brown?
centre back. Well, Evans was after Brown, I think.
Yeah. So it's Johnny Evans is probably the last one, which was what, 12 years ago?
That came through and actually
13, 14 years ago, maybe 2006, 2007. So it's been a while. You know, we've had a lot more strikers and midfielders, and you know, McTominay and Cleverley. Even just played one big season. You don't see it that much from centre backs.
No, you're right, and I think historically, you know, sort of even in the Fergie era, yes, you'd have Wes Brown and players like that, but centre back wasn't always a.
There was no, the class of '92.
Yeah.
There was no great centre back in that
Phil
team.
Neville was a lot more utility player. And
Yeah.
Bottom, Scholes and Beckham and Giggs were all midfielders, obviously. So, yeah, it's not one of those positions where you always turn to your academy. But if someone does come through who's good enough, and if Ted Mengi is that player, then, you know, especially with the Glazonomics we're in, obviously, you know, you like to see him get a chance.
Go on.
I like this. Ilyas Pujari, forgive me if I've pronounced that wrong. Maybe it's bias, but when I hear United fans talking in London accent, it appears so fake. But Mr. Tate, legend.
Thank you.
Don't tell anyone, right? He's actually a Cockney. Get off camera, right? He's like, oh, Treatle.
Yeah.
Fuck off, you wanker.
See.
That's his normal voice. He just pretends.
I'm Mank born and bred, mate.
I think it's safe to say Andy Tate is. Yeah, he is Mank. Someone else said Craig Cathcart, lol. I mean, that's the thing, though. You know, you may laugh, but you know, he's had a good career, and he came through the academy and had a good career. A lot of players have come through the academy.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying who made it as
I'm
footballers.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, people say, oh, mate, came through United academy and went on to have a Premier League career. There's nothing wrong with that at all. PK, someone's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You remember when PK, we sent him back to Barca because we were like, don't worry about him. We've got Johnny Evans, we've got Chris Smalling, we've got
Lightweight.
Phil Jones.
Lightweight.
Long term sorted.
Yeah.
Was Keane as a centre back a mistake back when we sold him? That's a good question. Michael Keane. Oh, good. They've started opening the manhole covers.
Are we being attacked?
This is like Doomsday Preppers or something going on
This
over there.
is.
It's like they're preparing for the Armageddon. We're going to go to open the front door and realise we've been bricked in.
Zombies.
Imagine Walden. Yeah, it's getting a bit aggressive out there. Yeah, what I'm saying is it's hard for centre-backs to come through. It's very difficult. I keep saying this. But 18-year-old centre-backs generally don't become first-choice players for top teams in Europe. That's just the case, isn't it? It's very uncommon to see that. De Ligt being a rare example of someone that does.
Yeah, I mean...
Can you hear that? Can you hear that on the stream?
Can
Is
you
that
hear
coming
it?
through, is it? Because we're in a cement mixer for this podcast.
Someone's put, sounds like Steve's in the bathroom.
Come on. Less of that. So
imagine
if they were
it's
bricking
moving
us in.
there, man.
Imagine.
Yeah, we may be here for some time. This may go on
Right, let's call it a day, shall we? Shall we call it a day?
I think this is just getting... Hang on a minute. No. Someone else has put... Peaky came through the academy. Yeah, listen.
But he was never first choice for Man United, was he?
He wasn't first choice for Manchester
Yeah,
United. And as we know that being first choice for Manchester United and coming through the academy as a defender is almost unheard of, and it's been a long time. I think the juggernaut is perhaps moving further away.
I think the juggernaut's coming through the fucking window, man. For man, that.
It's quite aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah, just looking at the Dan James thing that you were going on about, Andy. It says that he wants to stay at United.
Good.
This is what Sky reporting yesterday, despite a Leeds loan bid. I mean, you can't fault his effort with Dan James. He's obviously trying his best, and the question is...
To some
is he good
people,
enough?
that's not enough.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is he good enough? And I think the jury's still out, but one thing's for certain. I think, even if Jadon Sancho does come, I don't think that massively affects Dan James anyway. And B, I don't see any value in selling him to
Do you
Leeds of all
see
people.
anything happening with Jesse Lingard next 7 days?
Joe?
I could, yeah. I don't know where he's going to go, though. There was links to Tottenham, wasn't there, briefly, but I don't quite
Dele
know
Alli.
where he would
Dele
leave.
Alli.
I wouldn't particularly fancy Dele Alli at United. Maybe Dele Alli of 3 years ago, but he seems to have plateaued, if not gone backwards, doesn't he? So
I don't think Jesse will work with Mourinho again, would
Do
he?
you not think...
maybe not. Maybe he would, though. Maybe if Jose's after him, presumably he thinks there's a relationship there.
I think that was our curtain call there, because this is
getting beyond the...
This is like we're in the middle of the Armageddon. So
It's good, this.
yeah. And unfortunately, we didn't get to
You ever
1,000
seen Ground
likes.
Force? They film it next door, don't they?
Is that still with Charlie Dimmock?
Titchmarsh has gone past.
Hey.
Go on, lad.
Good vibrations.
Is Charlie Dimmock still in that?
She's not. She's got her own gardening TV show now, actually.
What's it called?
I'm not sure, but it's her, and then there's these two young lads who design gardens, and then the person whose house it is gets to choose whether it's Dimmock or the young boys who do their garden up. It's lovely.
That sounds great.
I don't know what it's called, though.
Well, we'll try and find out
Yeah.
before the next episode. This has been Howson's Brew without Stephen Howson. He's outside smashing bricks, apparently.
7 shades of shit
Yeah.
out of the pavement.
Killing some builders. That's been Andy Tate. He'll be back with us. You're
They're
here.
in. They're boring in. Close it up.
They're getting in.
They're in.
getting in.
They're in.
I'm back Sunday for the
The wall has
Spurs
been
game.
breached.
You're back Sunday for the Spurs watch along. I think you're going to be doing the half-time,
The wall has
the
been
pre-match, half-time, and post-match stuff. Joe.
The wall has been breached, Jay. Wrap it up.
We're taking on water here.
Take it on wall. Get it off. Jay!
Joe's getting flashbacks to his time in workshop. Yeah, that's Joe Smith. You'll see him on all the videos coming up, as always. And I've been Jay. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. And don't worry, for those of you asking, Steve Howson will be back
Is that a drill going there,
on the
you're
channel tomorrow. This has been Stretford Paddock. Thanks for watching.